Welcome to the Homeschool Counseling Network podcast, brought to you by the homeschoolcounselingnetwork.com, a website devoted to connecting homeschooling families with free resources in the areas of academic advising, counseling, testing, therapy, and tutoring to inspire, inform, and improve lives. In this podcast series, we chat with professionals in education, mental health, professional coaching, and therapy to help families on their home education journey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show. My name is Kimberly Bennett, and I am your host. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for giving us a listen. A little bit about me. I am a licensed professional counselor of over 20 years, and I have been a homeschooling mom for 5 of those years. I am also an advocate for mental health and homeschooling children with learning differences. For more of my story and background, feel free to listen to episode 1 or check out my website at the homeschoolcounselingnetwork.com. Disclaimer. While I am a licensed mental health professional, the content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered educational, medical, mental health, or therapy advice. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice. The views expressed in this podcast may not be those of the host or the management. The presenter is simply presenting their views and welcomes any comments, suggestions, or correction of errors. Well, hello and welcome. I am very excited to have author, storyteller, a missionary, homeschool mom, a nonprofit founder. Oh my goodness, you have entirely too many titles for me to list. But I am so very excited to have you, Jennifer Ohaneson, back in my studio today. In our previous interview, we talked about your debut release, Growing a Servant's Heart. 52 gospel-centered service projects for families and children of all ages. So please be sure to check out that episode. But today we are going to talk about your nonprofit, Blessing Bags International. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for coming back and taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. Do you sleep? Because I'm blown away by all that you do.
It's funny you ask me that because last night I was so tired and it was like 8 o'clock and I sat down on the couch and I needed to do some work for the orphanage we live at. And it was all in my phone that I could get it done. And all of a sudden I felt like the heaviness set in of like, oh no, you're going to fall asleep. So I got up and for the next hour and a half, I paced the orphanage so that I could stay awake while I worked. And then I went to sleep. I did go to sleep eventually, but yeah.
I know she multitasks and does her cardio while she works too.
So. Exactly. Got in my steps yesterday, so that happened.
It's treadmill desks, just pace.
Exactly.
Whatever works. Well, let me tell our listeners a little bit about you. You are a missionary, the co-founder of Blessing Bags. You're an author, a homeschool mom, and oh my goodness, let's see what else have you done? Tell our listeners all about you, because how long have you, and you're also a mom to 12. You and your husband Michael have grown your family through biology, through adoption, and through foster care. You are a missionary. You have been living in Mexico for the past 10 months, I think you were telling me earlier. So, and you are a public speaker. You do a lot. Tell us a little bit about what all that you do with Blessing Bags International, how long it's been around, and what Blessing Bags International is.
A decade ago, I was trying to find ways to get my kids to serve together. And there were a lot of options for my teenagers, but not as many options for my little guys. And I wanted, it was very important to me that it was for the entire family, that our whole family together could serve. And I had seen online or somewhere that some Girl Scouts had made like these blessing bags for the homeless, care packages for the homeless. And I was like, well, I mean, even my babies can make care packages. This is something any age can do. And, and so I was very intrigued by it, but I realized it could also be a way to share God's love with these people. Like, we're not going to do it just for ourselves to feel good. We want to make an eternal difference, right? On our children and the people we're blessing. And so out of that came our first service project. We got our Bible study together with all of the little kids. Our whole families, 5 different families came together, and we made care packages, and then we took them to a shelter in Washington, D.C., and we didn't just hand them at a distance and walk away or leave them there. It was important to me that we went up and we shook their hands and we got their name and we asked them how we could pray for them, and we gave them care packages. And I thought, well, okay, this is something we can do every year around my birthday. I'll give up my birthday and we'll do a big service project and it'll be fun. And so a year later, I went to do this again, and the Lord just kept pressing on my heart that no, this is what I want you to do. Like, this is for you to do. Like, this is your job. And I'm like, I have no idea. That's not. I can't understand what you're saying. That doesn't make sense to me. And a job is usually something where you get paid.
I don't
And
get paid for anything either. I know.
exactly. And that was that we did the service project again. And I remember just my prayer journal and my time with God just during that week was just continued to press on my heart that this is something we were going to do long term. And so, long story short, me and my husband went into full-time ministry as volunteers for our nonprofit. And my husband is a disabled veteran, so we did have some money coming in that we survived on, but it was not. It was rough. It was really rough from what we had come from, and me having a business, and I used to own a children's entertainment company, and so to now us literally living by faith. Like, okay, God, I don't know how we're going to make ends meet. We have to pray, and God provided in amazing ways. So we ran our nonprofit ministry in the Northern Virginia area for 7 years, where we hosted weekly service projects for families to come together and serve with their children, and create care packages and then take them. There are so many great ways for your kids to serve, especially, around the holiday season, where they can make, Operation Shoebox or Angel Tree and these different organizations. But your kids, and they're wonderful. I actually mentioned some of them in my book. But the part that's missing for me in making a lasting impact is the majority of times your kids are not going to receive a letter back. They're not going to know, really what happened, right? They didn't. They made the package and then they sent it on. Where with our ministry, the kids would make the care package and then they would go and they would give the care package. And so it's just like a full circle of experiencing the act of serving, and the other end, the impact their serving made, right? And so we did that in the Northern Virginia area for 7 years. And about a little over 6 years into it, the Lord started pressing on our hearts that we were going to become itinerant missionaries and travel the country. And I felt like I didn't have the tools to do that. And that is how the book came about, Growing a Servant's Heart. Was us having tools. So we didn't just, yes, so we didn't just, go and offer someone a quick service project and then leave. We left them with resources to continue to serve. And once we had that final piece, we ended up serving across the country in 48 states for 3 years. We traveled as itinerant missionaries. And then when that season came to a close, the Lord was calling us down into Mexico, where we had previously led 2 short-term missions trips, one in 2017 and one in 2018, where families with kids of all ages, because that's kind of our focus, not just teenagers. There's a lot of wonderful ministries here that are focused on, stuff that teenagers and young adults can do, and I wanted to focus on kids, and so we came back here to Mexico in January and thought that we would just be here for a few months. I had 3 mission teams planned. They were going to come down and serve, and then we were going to head back to the U.S., and God had other plans for us.
He does that, doesn't he?
Yeah, often.
Plans all the time, and he's like, "That's great." And I'm like, right, I'm going to sit here and take notes. Yes, sir. Okay. But he's a gentleman. He will wait on you. He'll go, okay. I'm going to nudge. He'll come back and nudge you, but he is a gentleman.
Absolutely.
That is beautiful. That I see that here as I'm looking at your website, you do organize family mission trips, and that is something that is actually I don't think that I've met anyone else who does that. Not that I've met a ton of missionaries in my life, but the ones that I've met are usually college students, or the mission groups that they're traveling with. They're usually taking college students. So the fact that you can do this as a family and take world schooling, if you will, because you're a homeschool mom as well. I'm like, what better way to learn about the world than to get out and live in it? And
Absolutely.
just listening to you speak as to how you've described this vision that God put on your heart and how he guided your steps and how you implemented it with having kids go out and actually be a part of that service project, not take the, and I love Operation Christmas Child, all of that kind of stuff. We support that at our church. We participate in the
Absolutely.
ministries and that stuff. All of those are wonderful. But you take that somewhere and you drop it off and then you don't see where it goes. Much
Right.
like in therapy, we don't always see the fruits of our labor as it comes out later. We have to go by faith. But especially with young children, and if they've not had the maturity yet, it helps them make that connection between here's what I'm doing and here's how it benefits someone. And so you bridge that gap. You and your husband in the creation of this ministry bridged that gap with something that so many people can think is so small just by making a hygiene bag or a care bag. But going out and getting it to that person and handing it to them and saying, I see you. I'm going to meet your eyes, because so many people will not even look an unsheltered person in the face. They will completely look away. So you're helping bridge that gap and bring a human connection to it, a heart connection to it. And that's absolutely beautiful. About the history of how your ministry, of how it came to be, and you were telling me a little bit off camera of how it has evolved a little bit. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners how Blessing Bags International has evolved, what your ministry, what sort of work your ministry is doing now, and what services your nonprofit offers? And tell us about these mission trips, these family-centered mission trips.
Absolutely. So when we were in the U.S., we offered family-friendly service projects that were free of cost to families to come out. So they didn't have to try to go buy 20 hand sanitizers or 15 bags of tissues. And moms are busy, right? So we wanted to keep it easy for people. So we offered everything already there, ready to go. Families would come and make care packages for homeless, day laborers, crisis pregnancy centers, troops, elderly. You name it, we can make it into a care package. But now we've kind of left that to the book taking on that role, helping people serve through that, and through our resources on our website that tell how to make an act of kindness bag, how to make a blessing bag. We've, now that we are in Mexico and we're not leaving, we thought we would be here until last May. Once we finished our teams we were brought down here, we thought we were leaving, and God had other plans and brought us to a beautiful orphanage and daycare for the working poor, so that their kids have a safe place to stay. And we fell madly in love with this orphanage. We will be living there forever as far as we can see it. We have no intent on ever leaving. We are continuing now. Instead of offering these family-friendly service projects, we offer missions trips now year round. So instead of you just needing to fit into that 1 week time slot, like, okay, well, it didn't work out for my spring break this year, maybe next year. No, it's when are you available? Let's fit you in and do a missions trip with your kids. And so we bring families down. We've had groups as small as one person. That was a college girl who we love dearly now because she's come down twice, who just wants to come down and serve. And so our focus is supporting three different groups here. We support the Guarderia Dios Bravera, the daycare and orphanage, and then we provide care packages for families up in the hills. So we still make lots of blessing bags. And we support a comedor, which is a soup kitchen for families who can't can't buy themselves food. So they come and they get a meal and they get to hear about the love of God there and be discipled and get a free meal. And so when families come with their kids, they make hundreds of care packages, and then we go hit the community and we go love people in Jesus' name. And because I am staying there, I get to form such beautiful relationships with the people we serve and get to spend time with them weekly and just pour into them, and they pour into us as well. And so our ministry has shifted from the U.S. to Mexico now. We're starting a building project over the next few weeks and on a piece of property directly across from the orphanage where we plan on staying, and plan on building a ministry headquarters there. And so it is a big change for us. I still sometimes wake up and I'm like, I live in Mexico. I live in Mexico. Because it just wasn't what I thought things were going to look like. But God is so good, and what He calls us to is so much more beautiful than anything I can put together. And so, if this is where He wants me, He knows what's best for me. So I'm gonna be along for the ride.
Yes, it sounds like it. And I can't wait to talk to you and whenever that is done, because I would like to help you with the launch of that new building so we can get some more support for you and the work that you're doing down there. That is incredibly exciting. So we definitely have to keep in touch with that.
Thank you. Absolutely.
But yes, God will do that. He will do that. You will make all these kinds of plans and He'll go, that's great. How about this instead? And before you know it, if you just say yes, if you just surrender,
Absolutely.
there's so much love and hope in it, and you'll find so much joy in it if you just say yes.
Absolutely. And so many things that seem impossible, like they just don't seem, I mean, just completely impossible. And God does them. You just trust in Him, and He does it because He doesn't work in the same boundaries that are we can imagine and think of and put Him in these boxes like, okay, well, this is the only way it would work out. And He doesn't. That's not how He operates. There are so many things in my life that are literally impossible that have happened. And so, yeah, so I fully trust God, even though it's crazy living here with 9 of my 12 kids in a country that we did not expect to end up in full time. But it's such a blessing, and it's so fun to see them growing and serving and just embracing a culture that's not their own.
Well, the story of your life that God has authored is phenomenal and fascinating. And I just can't wait to see what else He has in store for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I know for a lot of families like mine, we've never been on a mission trip outside of the U.S. So, can you share some of your favorite inspirational or funny stories from your experience as a missionary?
Well, I will say that I was looking over the questions you would be asking, and when it said that I could share an inspirational or a funny story, my daughter in the backseat, I had 2 of my teenagers with me. She's like, "Funny or traumatizing? What are we looking for?" And she starts naming all of these. I mean, fairly traumatic things that happened as we traveled the country, just from children getting car sick, like, I mean, car sick, not just like, oh, I got sick to my stomach. I mean, like, how did that child have that much food in them? And seriously. And then one of my kids, like a baby, like getting a hold of, I'm so sorry, but getting a hold of their diaper contents and then playing with it like Play-Doh. And here I am on the side of the road.
All been there.
I traveled the country 3 times across the country and then up and down the U.S. with 9 kids and 2 cats in a 12-passenger Nissan NV towing without my husband, because he was in another vehicle driving with our house that we lived in for 3 years, our travel trailer. And so I traveled the country by myself. So when something happened, it was me. I was responsible for fixing everything. And so my daughter's in the backseat naming all of these traumatic things, and I am laughing so hard I can't breathe. I am crying. She's laughing, and my son's laughing. I'm like, I am so glad that we have earned a sense of humor because of all of this, and that this is therapeutic. We won't need, I say that I'm a success in life if my children need therapy, that I can hold their hand on the same side of the table. um, but
Funny, but I say as a therapist, oh, you won't need therapy for the same reasons I did growing up, sweetie. You'll need it for all new ones, but that's okay. That's okay.
all new ones, yes.
All new
um,
ones, because none of us get it perfect. It's okay.
Absolutely. But the one story I wanted to share, which I think is just so important, and I shared this in front of a church when I spoke recently, and that we think of all of these ways. Here's 52 ways to serve, and you can add on it. You can go on a missions trip, so now you have 53 ways to serve, and we can put all this pressure on ourselves. And I wrote this thing, and I'll send it to you so you can share it if you'd like. But I wrote something on my Facebook and Instagram, and basically what I had shared was that out of all of the things you said, out of being, writing a book and being an itinerant missionary, and now being a missionary in another country and running a nonprofit, and all of the things that I've had, being a guest speaker, doing book signings, all of the different things that God has blessed me and be able to do, that my greatest known impact that I have ever made was at laundromats. As I traveled across the country, I didn't have a washer machine. So every Thursday, I ended up in a laundromat in a different state with people I've never met before. And with 11 people living on the road, you can imagine how much laundry I had every week, because we didn't do it every day. So all of those giant, leaf laundry, leaf size trash bags went to the laundry mat with me, and I would spend all day there. It would literally take me from morning to evening to get all the laundry knocked out and folded and sorted and ready to go for the next week. And I would pray before I would go in there, God, this is your time. Use me today. I am yours, and bring me the people you want to bring me. And people would come up to me and they would say, like, I don't know why I'm sharing all of this with you. And I'm like, I do. I know why you're sharing this with me. It's because the Lord has put this on
Chills.
your heart. And I got to share the gospel, right? I got to love people where they are. I got to pray for people. I got to do Bible studies outside of the laundromat and have meals with people outside of the laundromat. And I just had this incredible mission field that was totally unplanned. This was just a mom mission field. This wasn't part of our ministry. This wasn't me doing some sort of fundraiser and out. No, like, this is me just being a mom. And it was one of the just most amazing 3 years of being in a laundromat mission field. And so I wrote it better on my Facebook, but I ended with just saying, where is your laundromat? You don't have to plan out the perfect missions trip, although I am always ready to help you with that, always. You don't have to, try to do one service project a week. I mean, you can, by all means, but if your heart is focused on serving and focused on doing ministry, God will bring it to you just in what you're already doing, whether you're, a coach of a soccer team, or whether you are a teacher's aide for, a preschool class that your child's taking through a homeschool co-op or something, whatever it is. I have no idea, but God wants to use you where you are. And that was what I thought I would share.
That is phenomenal, mind blowing, and a reminder that sometimes we just have to remember what glasses to put on when we're looking for opportunities, because they're around us all the time. We just have to
Absolutely.
look. And you saw them right there. Imagine how many souls you won for Christ just doing that. Oh, I
It
can't
was
even
it was
imagine.
a wonderful time, and being here in Mexico, I miss it. I miss my laundromat days. So a day that could have just been a day full of dread because I have so much laundry to do, became days that were just blessed, richly blessed.
Absolutely. And a task that most of us absolutely dread. You said, God use me. God use me. Oh, that is a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it lets us all know what opportunities we have. Oh
Absolutely.
my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can you tell us what are some ways that our listeners or our viewers can help support Blessing Bags International?
So we have a very detailed website that tells the different ways that we serve the four service projects currently, which is a house building project for our ministry and our family. We have not been in a house in 3.5 years, so we very much look forward to building roots and serving the immigrants that live up in the hills who work all day and make about $10 a day, what would be equivalent to $10 a day for working the entire day. And we go up and love them and bless them and spend time with them. And so they're one of the things we support. And we support the soup kitchen that I told you about, the food kitchen called a Commodore. And we support the orphanage by providing food for them through giant care packages we create. And so we're looking for monthly supporters, people who obviously when teams come down, they bring resources with them, right? Whether it's for paying for their missions trip and we use those finances to pay for the care packages, or whether it's them actually bringing stuff when they come. They bring clothes and stuff that don't fit their kids anymore, and they want to bless the people up in the hills with them. But when they're not here, we don't stop serving. We don't just serve when a team is here. We serve every day. And so we're looking for monthly supporters, definitely people who want to be part of what we're doing year round. And for us, we want people to really believe in what we're doing. Don't just give, to give. And we want people to do their research, check out our website, read our beliefs, our doctrinal statements, see the videos that are there. And if that's something the Lord is calling you to be part of, whether it's to come on a missions trip with your family, or whether it's to partner with us and help provide for these families that we are providing for, definitely check out the website and see if that's something that the Lord leads.
Absolutely. And your website is blessing-bags.org. And I will put some links to that in the show notes and in the description box below as well. You've also got some items listed there on the website for things that you need the most, for things that you're looking for. But can you also tell us about, I've noticed you've got some public speaking engagements. So where can people find you if they would like to hire you to come and have speaking engagements here in the States or, well, anywhere else?
Absolutely. So I am open to. I've had the privilege of speaking at several women's conferences, being the lead speaker or being just one of the guest speakers there. I've had the privilege of speaking at homeschool co-ops and all kinds of wonderful opportunities. In October of 2023, I got to go away for just a few days, and in a 4-day time period, I got to speak 10 different times. So super exciting. But it's really just going to the website and checking out. I don't have a schedule. My heart and my family and our ministry is here in Mexico now. So this is where we serve full time. We also serve full time at an orphanage. So we do a lot of work there. I took on a lot of jobs because we just love being there. And but as far as the speaking goes, if somebody is interested in having me come, I'm a storyteller, so I share through my life stories. God's given me all kinds of great content to share, and through all kinds of, like my kids say, trauma. But you would just check me out on the speaker page and look at the different topics, and just reach out to me. And if as long as there's not a team coming down, we can work to fit it into our schedule.
That sounds wonderful. Well, I'm telling you, you are just from reading this book, you are a gifted storyteller. And God has definitely put a calling on your heart, and you have walked so faithfully in obedience at inspiring families to serve as a family, not just to serve the greater community, but it really grows the family closer together. And I think now, oh my goodness, during the season that we are in as a world, there is nothing that we need more than to grow that family unit closer together and to set those positive role models and examples for our children. And you live that. You live it and you walk it.
We had a team down last week serving, and they only brought teenagers with them. They were kind of leery about coming to Mexico. They didn't know how they felt about it. They were a little uneasy. You know, you hear things on the news. And the one regret that I heard from a few of the people was that they didn't bring their younger children with them. That I wish I would have brought my whole family. This would have been great for my whole family. Um, so I felt like I was supposed to share that. So for whoever that was for, um, we love serving with kids of all ages, and just are so glad that God has given us. You know, we have kids down here from 17 to 3 years old. So it's fun for people to be able to see that and join with us.
Well, you are definitely making an impact and inspiring others to follow suit. I just wanted to say, well, Jennifer, thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for being salt and light and teaching the rest of us how to be salt and light. And I'm going to put all of the information so people can learn more about your beautiful book, Growing a Servant's Heart, and your organization, Blessing Bags International, on in our show notes below. And we look forward to chatting with you again in the future to see where God takes you next. So for now, thank you so much for being with us again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care. Right.
Take care. Bye.
The Homeschool Counseling Network recognizes the comfort of having a community. We offer the Homeschool Counseling Network Public Resource Sharing Group, a public group on Facebook where individuals, organizations, families, and professionals are welcome to openly share information and resources. Looking to learn from a particular specialist or educator in one of these fields? Reach out and let us know. You can send us your comments and questions to Kimberly Bennett, LPC, at outlook.com, or by commenting in the public Facebook group. With the Homeschool Counseling Podcast, we are working to bridge the gap between professionals and homeschooling families. Are you searching for a professional in your area to help support your family on your homeschooling journey? Visit our website at www.homeschoolcounselingnetwork.com. Look under the Parents tab where you will find a subcategory, Find a Professional. Here you will find lists of service providers organized by areas of specialty in 4 main categories: academic advising, counseling and mental health, testing, therapy, and tutoring. We've also added some new categories: professional coaching and courses and classes. Providers are also categorized by state, population served, and areas of expertise. Credentials and contact information are also included. Also on our website, you'll find a variety of digital media, including blog posts, free downloads, and a searchable free resource library covering a range of topics relevant to homeschooling, education, therapy, and mental health. Content is created by me, Kimberly Bennett, your host, and some professional friends and fellow homeschooling parents that I have met along the way in my family's homeschooling journey. By collaborating with service providers and professionals in the community, strategic partners, donors, sponsors, and advertisers who share our vision and believe in our mission, we endeavor to provide free quality resources to inspire, inform, and improve the lives of homeschooling families. Are you a professional interested in partnering with us? Visit our website and click on the Professionals tab. You can join our network and have your business or practice listed among our multiple resource lists for free. Have a heart for service? Would you like to pour your knowledge into the homeschooling community? Consider contributing content to our free resource library. There are multiple opportunities to participate, including writing guest blog posts, recording a guest blog, or sharing downloads or printables. Looking for a wider reach? Coming soon! HCN will offer paid advertising opportunities. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter at homeschoolcounselingnetwork.com to keep updated with all of our latest developments. Education is a journey that we are not meant to take alone. There is great comfort in community. Until we meet again, thanks for being part of our village.